What's up, guys? This is Mike Loris with the next set from the Premier League Season 4. This time I'm going to be bringing you guys Fnatic on the Radiant and Virtus Pro on the Dire. Both of these teams are incredibly strong, and, well, you know, you have those teams that are strong. You have, like, Na'Vi, No Tidehunter, Empire. Those are really strong teams, but then these teams, these guys are also really strong, but they're consistently strong. Like, as of late, those previous three teams that I mentioned have been kind of off and on. They're sometimes playing really well, they're sometimes messing up. Maybe not the Na'Vi part, because I have not seen the new Na'Vi actually play anything, like with Fnatic and Kuroki on their team. But these guys, especially Fnatic, who have made very, very large amounts of growth since I started casting, both of these guys are very, very consistent and very, very strong. So we should be in for some good Dota, and their picks are just flying out. So let's get right to it. Keeper of the Light, Wisp, as well as Magnus, kind of standard bans, allowing the Nyx as well as the Batrider to get through the pool. Nature's Prophet has been seeing a little bit more play as of late. And already you have that good denial of a global Lifestealer gank with that Nature's Prophet ban. Not exactly intentional, although I guess Virtus Pro had an inkling that Fnatic would want to pick up that Lifestealer, and Lifestealer they have picked up. Along with the Batrider as well as the Gyrocopter, Fnatic are already off to a pretty damage-heavy start. What they would be looking for right now is a couple of support heroes. Although Gyrocopter as well as Lifestealer on the same team, that is a lot of damage to be put out. And Gyrocopter is a decent counter versus Lifestealer with the cooldown slow. If Lifestealer can't stick to the targets, then, you know, it's an ineffective Lifestealer right there. But the thing is with Gyrocopter as well as Lifestealer is that the lanes get pretty cramped. You have to have one of these players either in a dual lane or an aggressive tri-lane situation. So VP have their bans kind of set out for them. They're going to open up with the Chen, Rubik. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Shadow Demon as their final ban out. Just get rid of any sort of setup that Fnatic could possibly want. And Fnatic not really doing themselves a huge favor, banning out the Undying. But you know, if they ban that, then I guess they're comfortable with not having it. Enchantress is actually the last ban, so VP seem content on getting rid of all of the jungler heroes, or at least most of the jungle heroes, that Fnatic could possibly pick up. The jungle heroes will make the lanes a little bit less crowded, so it does make sense to see them doing that. And Fnatic, their bans are a little bit more scattered. VP with their 3 pickups have their lanes wide open. Nyx Assassin could be played as a support or a solo mid. Darkseer could be on the long lane or even in the mid lane. So I think what Fnatic do know is that the mid lane is probably a little bit secure for VP, so you don't really have to ban out the Queen of Pain, you don't have to ban out the Storm Spirit or the Puck or anything like that. Although I say that, you could still run Nyx support and a Darkseer on the hard lane. You have Nyx, Bane, and then X carry. In which case, Fnatic might do well to ban out something like a Luna. Oh, did I call that, or did I call that? I am just so good. Holy crap. So Luna not going to be seeing the light of day here, so we'll see what VP want to pick up as their hard carry, because their hard carry is going to have to do some very, very heavy lifting to outfight both a Lifestealer and a Gyrocopter. Even if the Gyrocopter is played in a support capacity, he usually does get a little bit of damage going on. The Rocket Barrage is some intense damage, so first of all you have to survive that burst, and good luck picking up a hero that's tanky enough to survive that burst and actually still be able to fight without a BKB. Then you have to deal with the cooldown for the slow, so even if you do get a BKB, you're not going to be able to stick to your targets. And then eventually the Gyrocopter, if this game lasts long enough, will be able to do some pretty heavy right-click damage with that flat cannon. So VP, they're going to say, screw it, we're not going to decide just yet, we're going to pick up the Shadow Demon. So denying that support from Fnatic, essentially using an extra ban right there, picking up the support and denying it from Fnatic. Fnatic, you could bet, would have loved to get their hands on that hero. Such great setup with the Gyrocopter. Decent with the Lifestealer as well to really let him close the distance. If you could walk in when they're being disrupted and really save the slow time for your open wounds, so you could be hitting them the entire time instead of open wounds, walk up, and then start hitting them. You just open wounds and then start hitting them. It saves a good, 1.5 seconds, and that can mean the difference between a kill or not. So using that Shadow Demon pickup, very, very good setup with the a lot of setup in this team. The stuns aren't exactly there. You can't hit people while they are imprisoned. in the Shadow Demon banishment while they are disrupted. You can't hit people when they are nightmared. The Nyx Assassin as well as the Vacuum will act as stuns. And, well, so far they don't really have anything except for the Fiend's Grip. Actually, they do have Fiend's Grip and Demonic Purge to go through BKB, so Lifestealer not going to have the best time in his life. Gyrocopter as well once he gets a BKB. So VP are pretty good with the shutdown, the lockdown. And Fnatic, gonna go with an Ancient Apparition. I do like this hero. I feel like he needs to see some more play just because he's one of my favorite support heroes. He's gonna have that Ice Blast, and VP, they are a pretty fragile team. That Ice Blast will do a lot of damage from that global range. And Fnatic, the thing is, they have a very long range of initiation, which is something we've been seeing a lot more these days. Just picking up heroes such as the Keeper of the Light, pick up the heroes such as Bane Elemental, who has a really long range on that Fiend's Grip. Batrider, of course, with the Blink Dagger, then Lasso, so you could really mess with the enemies' ranges. And then, of course, one of the big heroes is the Clockwork, who has a pretty large initiation. I would say it's pretty big. But VP, their pickup is going to be the Anti-Mage. And, well, I've already went over about how I feel about the... I already talked about how I feel about the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage can outcarry the Lifestealer as well as the Gyrocopter. The thing is, Lifestealer and Gyrocopter, they both offer a crap ton in the early game. They have the Rocket Barrage burst damage, and they have the scaling late game. They have the open wounds for a crippling slow. Anti-Mage has right clicks and a blink. So Anti-Mage is going to have to rely very, very heavily on his team to really lock down the rest of Fnatic so that the Anti-Mage could get a lot of farm, a lot of time, a lot of space to get that farm. And even then, he's going to have to go up against a Batrider. So the Batrider gets to jump on him, blink, lasso. That's more than enough time to kill off an Anti-Mage, especially if you're going to get that shatter effect on him from the Ice Blast. But Fnatic, we'll see what they want to do for the last pick. It's going to be the Bounty Hunter. So they're going to, looks like, aggressive tri-lane, or tri-lane with the Lifestealer, Gyrocopter, as well as the AA, Bounty Hunter, as well as the Batrider, looking to solo up some lanes for themselves. So Fnatic, with that Bounty Hunter pick, mean that they want this Gyrocopter to get a lot more get a lot more gold, sorry. Of course, everyone will get more gold once the track kills start rolling in, or that's ideally how Fnatic would like it to play out. But the Lifestealer getting gold is all well and good, but he's going to be getting the farm through the creeps and just handling the lane, so the extra bounty won't really help him as much as it will for the Gyrocopter, who's most likely going to get none of that, unless they want to do something. No, it looks like it is going to be a... okay, well... Man, I can never remember who plays the solo mid lane for Fnatic, if it's Hani or if it's No-Tail. Just those two guys. I never remember. I never friggin' remember. Hani was the Beastmaster, so it might be a solo mid Gyrocopter and a support bat. That would be quite something to watch, but we'll see. We'll see. My apologies for lacking the knowledge as to adequately prepare you guys for that. But we will go over who's on the VP side first. NS is going to be playing that Shadow Demon, supporting. He's going to have that disruption from level 1. Crazy is on the Nyx Assassin. He is going to go to the mid lane. He does have quite a lot of gold still saved up, so he's going to get his fast bottle. Airman, hard farming that Anti-Mage on the top lane, supported by KSI on the Bane Elemental, and Santa's going to be following up in the Darks here. Has a couple of restoratives, Stout Shield as well, so he's prepped to go into the jungle for a couple levels, then head down towards the bot lane. On the Fnatic side, Fnatic-kun, that's awesome. It's Ira playing the Lifestealer, No-Tail is going to be playing that Batrider. Fly is on the Ancient Apparition, we have Hani on the Gyrocopter, and Trixie is going to be playing that Bounty Hunter. So yeah, if I remember correctly now, it should be the Gyrocopter soloing the mid lane. And that means a support slash jungle bat. He really doesn't have much. Is there anything? Whose courier is this? It's No-Tail's courier. So yes, he spent money on the courier. Did he feed? Yeah, he fed everyone. So No-Tail really being selfless this game is just going to be pulling. And well, Batrider could get away with this. Salve and a Clarity. I wouldn't feel comfortable personally with doing that, but hey, No-Tail is just going to be pulling, so he's really not expecting to take a whole lot of damage, and a jungle Batrider is pretty good. He can clear the jungle very, very quickly if he gets a couple of good spawns, as long as there are no friggin' mud golems, right? And, well, especially if he clears off these easy camps and then pulling into the hard camp, he's going to have a decent time in the jungle. And the combination of Fly, already picking up a haste room. Wow, look at that animation when he has the haste. He's just flying through. He's going to pick up level 1 Chilling Touch, and Santa's got to be careful because he did not pick up Surge. Era is going to open up with open moves, and this magical damage from Chilling Touch is going to be absolutely huge. Look at it, 2 hits from each of them, and Santa's already almost dead. Can they bring down this Darkseer? Yes, they can with the Haste Rune. One more hit, maybe one more after this. Stout Shield, oh, the Stout Shield's going to save him. Fly, taking an awful lot of damage. 6 HP on Fly, run. Salve, run, the creeps. The creeps are pretty damn fast, 325. The salve gets cancelled. No movement from the mid lane though, and Fly is barely going to miss out on that kill and barely escape with his life. Darkseer is a freaking tanky hero. 5 physical armor as well as that stout shield saving him from the combined might of the Ancient Apparition and Life Stealer. But that is the power of Chilling Touch, and I feel like more teams could make very, very good use of that. If you put this guy in an aggressive tri-lane, there's just so much extra damage. Plus 50 magic damage on level 1. That is absurd amounts of damage. We'll see if he wants to max that out. Usually you do go back and get a little bit more cold feet because of that damage it gets. The scaling from Chilling Touch is very, very Like the cooldown gets substantially reduced, but you only get 10 damage. It's, in my opinion, not really worth getting a whole bunch of levels. You could probably just go for Cold Feet, get a couple points in Ice Vortex as well. But still, 1 level of this skill is a wonder level. You get a lot from that, and oh, Centaur survived. No, it gets killed by Fly. But unfortunately, the stun means that the double pull is not going to fly. Haha, get it? No, okay, fine. But anyway, Era is going to have a complete free lane. Santa has realized that without his Surge, he stands no chance at surviving on that bot lane. How's No Tail doing with the pulling? He's still 0 for 0, and Crazy is actually trying to hunt him down. Hani is getting a lot of better time on this mid lane than the Nyx Assassin. It's kind of to be expected. Nyx Assassin, even if he does pop off his Spike Carapace, of course, when he does get it, he's not really going to be blocking that much damage. Gyrocopter has a lot of bursts, but it's bursts in small increments, so the Spike Carapace isn't really going to help him. Trixie has even moved down from the top lane, the Sentry Ward, forcing him out of that lane. And he's on the hunt for jungle heroes. He's going to find Santa, who's actually very, very low. Trixie, though, is only level 1. I don't think he can actually get a kill on Santa, since Santa does have Purge. But Trixie is going to be following Santa. Oh, Santa, he saw that smoke. He saw Trixie's foot on the high ground. He's going to surge himself and try to get on out of there. But Trixie, what he wants to do right now is just creep jack the Darkseer. Wait for the Darkseer to take a lot of damage from the creeps, move in, and then, or do this, kill the courier. But the courier did spot him out, and Santa and Trixie going to play a very, very complex mind game right now. Because Santa does want to get the farm, but Trixie, he's right there, he's waiting. However, Santa's, simply by sitting here, is going to win in the long run. Trixie's burning through his mana, only has 2 more invisibility casts left. And let's see if he can actually last hit Santa. The Darkseer does have more base damage, so I don't think Trixie, actually Trixie got 1. Trixie didn't get that one. Trixie got the 3rd one, so he's not doing too bad. Out of invisibility, though, he has 1 more. But you don't really want to be surfing around at that low HP. So already we see a lot of things going on in this game. From the attempted first blood to the elaborate duels between these 2 heroes. Essentially another lane has been created, which is always cool to see. Gyrocopter in this mid lane, still controlling Crazy, who is only 5 for 2. Kind of uncharacteristic of Crazy, usually has a lot more dominance in this lane, but at the same time, it is Hani on the Gyrocopter. Gotta get it straight in my mind. Hani is mid, No Tail is not. God, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. No Tail is still trying to pull. He's level 4 actually, so his pulls have been going pretty well. Didn't get the complete pull that time, but hey, if you got most of it, it is perfectly fine. Has been stacking this cam? No, he hasn't actually. So he's not going to have that huge burst of gold. He's instead just focusing on denying experience to this the mid lane, the Nyx, and Nyx, is, you can see, is suffering from it. Level 4 versus level 5. Of course, Gyrocopter is holding down the lane a lot better, even without No Tail's assistance. But No Tail is playing a pretty important part in this mid lane. Let's see if he can actually get another pull. He does get it. The complete pull. Very well done by No Tail, making sure that Gyro doesn't get anything. And the, Nyx doesn't get anything. And Gyro with the Black Cannon could last it under the tower, especially once he pops that double damage. And he's going to take a little bit of damage, yes, but it's going to be nothing as compared to what Crazy is getting or what he's not getting. Do those creeps just spawn right under the melee creeps? I'm freaking crazy. I think I just saw that guy spawn with the melee creeps right here. I'm not sure though. I might just be out of my mind. Fly continuing to do pulling of his own. He's almost level 4. You need to get this Ancient Apparition up to level 6 as quickly as possible to get that Ice Blast, a little more global map control. But he has gone for 2 points of Chilling Touch, even though there's no one in his lane. I mean, it's a good investment spell. The cooldown does go down by 4 seconds, although if you prep correctly, you shouldn't really need to rely on that cooldown. I do feel like Cold Feet, that cooldown reduction is a lot more substantial because 15 to 9 seconds, that's a pretty good reduction right there, and the damage does increase as well by a lot more at least. Shadow Demon completely spotted out by Hani, or he should have been with that Sentry Ward placement. But no, it looks like he wasn't, because there's the Impale. This might be the first blood. Brain Sap onto Hani, Curse onto him as well, and Hani is on the run. He's going to pop his call down to try to slow down the entirety of VP, but it looks like it's all going to be for naught because Hani is going to drop to the Shadow Demon, the Gyrocopter's own illusions turning against him and killing him off. So first blood goes to Hani, or goes against Hani. That's going to slow him down substantially on the lane. He has been doing very, very well this game. It's going to be a little bit of a blessing for Trixie, who has been suffering quite a bit. Going to get level 3, possibly level 4, unless Crazy pulls out some sick denies. But VP with the rotation ensure that they get the first blood, and Hani is now back to this lane. Level 6 on him versus the level 5 from the Nyx Assassin. So Hani is still technically ahead in this lane. Once the Nyx Assassin hits that level 6, he's probably going to try to leave, because he's not really getting much out of this lane except for experience. He'd be getting everything else he wants elsewhere. If he goes for Fly, that's an easy pick-off. I don't know why those skeletons were not moving. But if he goes for Fly, if he goes for No Tail, those could be pretty good pickups for the Nyx Assassin, although Batrider already is level 6. This Batrider has been farming absolutely insanely. He's been tar stacking. He cleared out that hard camp at least once. The trolls are no longer there. So Batrider doing very well for himself, and Crazy in a little bit of trouble popping off that Spike Carapace, saving himself from the barrage from the Gyrocopter. Now he's going to pop that Invisibility Rune. Does have Vendetta, so that's a lot of invisibility the Nyx Assassin's packing. But it looks like it's going to be No Tail with Smoke and Trixie looking for the enemy. They're going to find NS, and the Firefly is going to do a little bit of damage. There's the Janata to slow NS down. The Tar Stack is going to fly and pushing NS a little bit further away actually, but No Tail with the movement speed is going to just walk right up to NS and kill him off. The track gold is not there. The Bounty Hunter is only level 3. The kill is a kill. Trixie gets himself a little bit of experience, a lot of gold as well. However, No Tail might be in a little bit of trouble. The Courier is actually spotting him out. There's the stun from the Nyx Assassin. Airman does have Mana Void. Gonna use it to pop that Batrider. He is very dead. But meantime, the bot lane has been pushed successfully by Ira with the help of Fly. It's a lot of gold for the Lifestealer, who is already packing the treads. I don't think he's going to get a hand of Midas. That probably is just going to be a Gloves of Haste, going to be turned into a armlet, or an-armlet, if you speak English. So he's going for the early game. He's not interested in investing and trying to fight the Anti-Mage in the 40-minute slugfest. He's going to go for as much power as he can as soon as he can. And I do think that this is a pretty good decision, because you don't really have to invest entirely in the Lifestealer, because you have a lot of other damage sources coming in. You have the Batrider with that lockdown in the Anti-Mage. You have the Gyrocopter, who's farming very, very well. So why go for purely late game when you could rely on your team comp to carry you in the late game, and you could just bring the pain early? It makes sense. Crazy still is level 6, but hasn't really left the lane yet, although this might be the attempt that he really wants. Hani, though, completely spotted that out somehow. He has Observer Wards right there. Yeah, that is going to give you sight about over here. I wish I could draw on the map, I really do, but he saw him go invis, and Hani now with No Tail cowering in the forest. Don't know where Crazy is, but it looks like Crazy is going to have to waste that Vendetta on that creep. The creep is very dead, yes, it's a good way to get creep kills, just use a Vendetta every minute and a half or something like that. 70 seconds. But now Hani's back into the lane, and he is just going to farm it up. He's already going for his drums. Once he gets that, he could be very aggressive with the Rocket Barrage that he is maxing out. Trixie, how is he doing? Level 3 on him. He's not doing that well. I guess the only hero that I have not been talking about is Airman on this top lane, who has had the time of his life. 414 gold per minute, 68 to 25. That's where Trixie's levels have been going. They've been going right into Airman's denial stat. holding down that lane. Even though NS is sitting and absorbing some experience, the anti-mage is farming. This is the exact kind of space that they need. There's the lasso onto someone. It is on the Nyx assassin. He's going to get dragged back really far away, but with 3 versus 2, they can't really afford to fight this. The Firefly is still doing some pretty heavy damage, as well as the call down onto all 3. The Firefly still doing the work, and there's the chilling touch from the Ancient Apparition is going to pick off the Darks here. KSI going to run just barely. The illusions are not going to kill him off because they are friendly illusions, it looks like, unless those are illusion runes. Those were illusion runes, but regardless, the Bane did make it out alive. It's only VP losing that Darks here. Could have been a lot worse. They didn't pick off the Batrider, though Batrider was very low. He was playing very aggressive, so it seemed like he was very safe in doing that. But yes, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by that little skirmish in that mid lane. Airman is getting the exact farm that I said that anti-mages require in the draft, because he really is not having to worry about anyone in this top lane. Trixie has been gone for most of it. He took a little bit of a trip to the jungle, but that's not something that the anti-mage has to worry about. Now, anti-mage is almost at his Battle Fury. That's going to be a 13-minute Battle Fury with Tranquil Boots on top of that. He's farming as much as he can, as hard as he can, and does he have any swords actually? No, he doesn't have any swords quite yet. Once he does get those swords, that Battle Fury is going to accelerate his farm so much. So VP, they're looking for the supreme late game, and Trixie, you've got to be careful. That Mana Void will hurt pretty badly. Not the most painful, because Bounty Hunter's intelligence gain is pretty bad. Ice Blast onto this top lane, going to whiff completely. Hit the tower. Tower sure got it. Crazy gonna look for a kill onto Ira, and Ira's just gonna turn around. Crazy is gonna get surged away, but Ira's still in a little bit of trouble. There's the Fiend's Grip. Can they change some of this properly? They cannot, but it looks like they're confident enough to kill him anyway. That was really, really risky. Lifestealer had 4 charges in the Magic Stick. That's enough to pop an Infest. But regardless, they will pick them off in the top lane. There's going to be initiation. It's No Tail who's aiming towards NS. There's the Janata proc as well as the Flame Break, pushing the Shadow even further back. He's going to die no matter what. Batrider with that kill. He's looking for Airman now. Airman, though, maxed out the Blink. He should be completely fine, but a nice, clean kill for Fnatic on this top lane in exchange for Ira on the bottom lane. Definitely not worth it. They're going to try to get the tower, and they have saved the tower, their own tower, 137 HP, so not even in deny range. That's a little bit unfortunate for Fnatic. They would have liked it if VP hit it one more time. They're going to try to make an attempt for a tower of their own. Shadow Demon teleporting to the mid lane. VP have no interest in trying to save this tower. With the amount of power that Fnatic have right now, it kind of makes sense. They'll try to go for a trade. Ice Blast, not going to hit anything actually, so a little bit off target there. But with these 3 low damage heroes, I don't think they could actually pick off. Oh, it's gonna hit Santa. Never mind. They can't kill the tower, and the tower has already been claimed in the top lane. No Tail almost. He has 1,000 gold in his pocket, so another 1,050 until, or I guess just 1,000 now, until he gets his Blink Dagger. A little bit more initiation for him. He's looking for someone to kill, and he's going to use Firefly to try to go for Airman, but Airman already smelling something coming. He's going to just blink away. 13-minute Battle Fury has been picked up on this Anti-Mage, so his farm is going to increase by leaps and bounds. Probably it is going to be a Yasha first, or usually you just save your boots level 1 and then go for Power Treads, although I guess that's not going to happen this game unless he wants to do some switcheroo with those Tranquil Boots. But Airman is going to be farming very hard. Ira has already farmed pretty hard, and Hani is doing kind of the same thing on that mid lane. You can see the Fnatic heroes do have a lot of gold per minute. Darkseer, trying to follow up, but is unable to do so with his current score. So VP, what they would need to do right now is just sit back and try to not get killed by Trixie and his track. Because if they do, then Fnatic are going to get out of control. But if they don't, if they keep an Anti-Mage alive, they keep him farming for another 10-15 minutes, then Anti-Mage can actually contribute things to his fight. He'll have some damage, he'll have some attack speed, he'll be able to burn some mana, because Mana Break should be picked up by that. No Tail getting caught out. Was that Fiend's Grip? Yes, it was, and now Anti-Mage is going to blink forward. Who does he want to go for? He's going to get nobody. Level 1 Mana Break means he won't be doing that much damage. Plus 65 from the Battle Fury is nice, but the plus damage from the Mana Break is very, very important if you're going to be jumping into fights. You want that extra damage. Not to mention the mana burn, which could be pretty useful if you manage to burn someone out.
Dire's middle tower is under
The tower's going to take a little bit of heat. Trixie on the front line is looking for a couple tracks, and VP, they don't have the correct AoE to actually deal with this. Santa does have 1 level of the wall. Usually save that till later, but he got a little bit earlier, expecting the need for this because of an early push from Fnatic. Unfortunately for him, it's not really going to amount to anything. Fnatic are going to claim this tower very, very easily. Let's see if Ira can take down. Yes, he does. In the meantime, Airman on this top lane is going to have to deal with an Ice Blast flying his way. He's going to blink right on out of there. Already 1,000 gold in his pocket. Did he buy anything? He did not buy anything. Santa, really? With the boots? Holy crap, he just straight up rushed mech. You, what? Okay. That should not have happened. They didn't have any stuns. Sorry guys, I don't really like to go back. I wish there was like some hotkey like in StarCraft to just bring yourself back a couple seconds. What is it, 10 seconds in that? How do you actually kill an anti-mage like this? Unless he goes back in. Don't do it, anti-mage. Don't do it. We all know what's going to happen. Oh, he blinks in. Holy crap, Ira does a lot of damage. So Airman was committing suicide. He wanted to get that tower. Unfortunately, he gave Ira not only the tower deny, but also Anti-Mage's soul. A little bit of a misplay from the Anti-Mage now. Looks like Crazy's in a little bit of trouble, but that's not actually the case. It's No Tail who's in trouble because there is a lot of VP heroes right behind him. Crazy's going to get initiated upon. There's the lasso. Needs to get that spike carrot out, but there's so many creeps. Hani is not doing any damage. There's the vacuum as well as the wall. Hani taking substantial amounts of damage. Impale is going to land onto No Tail already. The gyrocopter getting popped off by the demonic purge, and that's going to be 2 down for Fnatic as well as a tower. So they made a poor trade on the top lane. They're going to make it up with this bot lane. In the meantime, top lane for Fnatic, they are pushing Ira as well as Fly. That's a lot of damage. He actually maxed out the Chilling Touch. Interesting. Not really favoring that Cold Feet. They don't really have any hard stuns besides the lasso, so I guess it's kind of understandable why it's not exactly the most reliable of skills for the Fnatic side. Airman has returned, spent a little bit of his gold, buying just a Quelling Blade, a magic wand actually, so getting real base items. But Trixie is spotted out. There's the disruption. Can they follow up on this? The curse is on him as well. That's about it. Burned all of his cooldowns. Crazy not in range for any of his spells. And with everyone from Fnatic moving down here, VP, it's time for you guys to go. Lifestealer even going for that Vlad's. Ice Blast going to hit, actually, just on the NS. That was unfortunate. It looked like it was going to hit all of them. Tracks are going to fly, but it's really just posturing right now. But Ira going to go for Vlad's offering, so he's going fully into this early game. He's relying on the gyrocopter to do most of the damage, and he's just going to be a tank, a lifesteal tank. This ain't League of Legends, but I guess it could kind of work. You need to ignite this guy, man. Ignite him. And then that lifesteal won't really work. That would be pretty cool to have in Dota, I think. It'd be kind of broken. It'd be really broken, actually. Some heroes will just get completely shafted by it, and others will just not give a shit. It'll be really entertaining to see, at least. But lifesteal with that Vlad's is going to give a lot of pushing power to his team. You can see these stats already coming out onto these creeps. And Ira can now actually attempt to go for Roshan, because Feast, unfortunately, Feast does not work. Whoa, his name is actually Naix. I thought everyone just called him that because that's what he was called in Dota 1, but he's actually called Naix. Anyway, my point, I guess, before I get sidetracked, Feast doesn't work on Roshan. It would be completely ridiculous if you could take out percentage-based amounts of his HP. So when you're fighting Roshan, you could cast Open Wounds, get a little bit of lifesteal from that, but the Vlads will allow them to do it that much easier. Lifestealer usually does get a little bit more attack-heavy items, or increases attack speed, increase his attack damage, usually through a Hyperstone into something like that, one of those items, Maelstrom, Mjolnir, or AC, or just go for straight up damage instead of for that magical attack speed combo, go for a Desolator, or just go straight heart. But in this case, making a short detour into Vlad's is pretty much swimming in gold, so we could afford to make these kinds of item adjustments. We will not sit around for this. Let's take a look at how the gold chart is looking. So not surprisingly, it is pretty even, only 1,000 gold for Fnatic, so no real advantage either way. 2,000 gold, 2,000 experience, I'm sorry, for VP, again, not really showing anything significant. Have there been any item advancements? Just a Claymore into a Shadow Blade for Hani. And that's it, aside from the, 12-minute mech? Was it a 12-minute mech? No, it was 15-minute mech. 15-minute mech Arcane Boot. Santa has picked himself a lot of gold. Unfortunately, there's no real gold onto Crazy, so this next assassin so far hasn't really been doing much of the assassinating, and oh shit, stop. There we go. He does have 6 assists, but unfortunately those aren't going to pay your bills if you're Nick Assassin. Who has been getting the kills? He's helped in. He's been in every single kill, but he doesn't really have anything because he has absolutely no CS. 39 CS, not what you want to see on your solo mid lane Nick Assassin. And now he's in a little bit of danger. Has Blink Dagger been picked up? No, not yet, but No Tail looks like he doesn't care. The Flame Break is going to miss, but it doesn't matter. Crazy is going to get his stun out before he does go down. If he does go down at all, he's going to take a lot of damage from the ultimates, but he's going to be just fine. Santa with the wall up. Vacuum is not there, but already killing off the Ancient Apparition. Hani trying to teleport away. Fiend's Grip as well as the Anti-Mage ultimate. Going to kill off the Gyrocopter. VP taking 2 for free, and Crazy just barely lives by the skin of his teeth. Hey, you got a kill from all that. Don't know how, but that happened, so finally a little bit more gold for the Nick Assassin, getting what he is due. Now Airman on the front lines. They're just going to push this bot lane as much as they can, possibly go for a Roshan with 2 down and 2 of the giant AoE heroes down. They could go for it, although looks like they are not comfortable in doing so. They don't have their anti-mage, so their right click isn't very powerful. They don't have any sort of minus armor or any of those ridiculous Roshan killing spells. So it looks like they're instead going to just push out the lanes, put as much momentum in as many places as they can, and really just buy time for Airman to get this farm. He has picked up his Yasha right now, so a lot more attack speed for him. But surprisingly, Anti-Mage still only holding 1 point in Mana Break. Mana Break, you do deal 60% of the mana burned as damage to the target, which is pretty substantial. That's another, what's 60% of 64? Half is 32, plus another 10, 38.4. Am I doing that right? Never ask a caster to do math when he's casting. It's rude and it doesn't work. But still, it's something like 40 damage, which is pretty freaking ridiculous if you just get this skill. He has opted instead to go for stats, which will help him survive a little bit better, and it kind of makes sense. The real task for Airman is, can I survive throughout this lasso? Because if I get lassoed, I'm going to have to survive and have enough HP to blink away, and not only just blink away, but also avoid the damage to go over from Ice Blast. So he needs every single point of health that he can get. However, he is not. He's going for that instead of the Blast Cannon build, which, you know, it's something I respect. You got to know when to go for which build. Of course, if I was Anti-Mage, I always go for damage because screw it, I want to get the kills. Even though I don't really have to try very hard to kill steal my team, it kind of just comes naturally. That water, come here. Alright, so both teams just kind of posturing right now. VP farming away on that Anti-Mage who's blinking around all over the place. Hasn't picked up power treads, but he does have 2,000 gold even after the Yasha. This is the farm that the Anti-Mage could get if you leave him alone for too long. And Fnatic, they do have the Gyrocopter, they do have the Lifestealer. However, the Bounty Hunter hasn't really been getting all that much done with his track. He's been throwing out some tracks, but he hasn't really been capitalizing on them into actual kills. Gyrocopter does have a Shadow Blade, so he could be doing some pretty heavy damage as well. The Lifestealer, though, not the most damage coming out from him, even though he completely tore open the Anti-Mage earlier. Eventually, that's just not going to happen unless the Lifestealer picks up something big. Looks like it is going to be something Hyperstone related. And the Courier not flying out, so it's probably going to be a Desolator, I'd say. Going for straight up damage after that. But VP, they're going to make a straight push down on the bot lane. They're not interested in waiting around. They do have the Fiend Script. They do have level 2 on that Vendetta. Airman farming the enemy jungle. Why not be baller? Lifestealer is going to be spotted out. They got to know that that's not real, though. Ooh, Surge. They realized it. That was very close. They almost blew their position. Although they're about to blow their position anyway. Observer Ward's is going to spot out a couple of VP. No, they're still safe. No one from Fnatic knows for sure that they're there, except now they do. They know Airman's leaving there, and the Airman wouldn't be there unless his team was there. So Airman's going to go right back to his jungle after pushing out this mid lane. Has now enough money for his Manta Style. And the Lifestealer is still really messing with the VP side. They're going to reveal themselves down in this bot lane. But everyone else from Fnatic, they're on top. Trixie as well as Hani just pushing this lane out as much as they can. It's going to give Airman a lot more farm, who now does have his Manta Style. But Hani's going to get a lot of farm as well. What does he have? Actually 800 gold. He must spend his money on something. Can I click on this courier, please? No, he doesn't have anything, actually. VP, they're all positioned and looking to take this tier 1 mid tower.
Dire's top tower
Don't know if
is
they
under
see that
attack.
Firefly, but if they do that, they know that Bat Rider doesn't have that high damage spell available to him. Blink Dagger is available to that Bat Rider though, so Blink Lasso is now a threat. I don't know if VP actually know about that, but it's going to be a surprise one way or another. Ice Blast going to go through, not do much damage to that anti-mage. He's going to blink away from that, and the tower has been destroyed. Nice easy tier 1 push. However, on the top lane, Honey looking to make a similar thing happen. Crazy in this top lane. Can he get this tower? Deny. One more hit. He is going to get it. Gets tracked up, but he's going to be completely okay with that. Does have the gem as well in the next assassin. Should explain the severe lack of wards for Fnatic. It's been crazy just moving around with that. Does have a Blink Dagger, does have Vendetta, so he's going to be pretty safe to be the one carrying that. Now he's finally getting a little bit more farm. Blink Dagger is up on the next assassin. We'll see what he wants to go for as his next item. If he wants to go for a little bit more tanky, or go for a little more utility with an Orchid or a Sheep Stick or something like that around those lines. Airman playing like a true baller, going to farm the enemy jungle. Everyone from Fnatic is smoked up, and Airman seems to smell something coming. The ward certainly saw Trixie, but Trixie by himself isn't good enough to reveal anything. Airman now in a lot of trouble because No Tail's around the corner. Blink Dagger is going to miss him, and Airman barely slipping away with his life. Everyone from Fnatic, though, they're still on the spot lane. Even though they didn't kill off the anti-mage, they could still make it go onto this tier 2 bottom lane tower. Although it looks like they're not going to risk it. They're content with farming. They do have the Life Stealer, who is actually holding an ultimate orb. Lincoln Sphere? Block off the Fiend's Grip? I guess that could work. Definitely not what I was expecting. Mantis? It's not going to be a Mantis style or Eye of Scotty. Do it. Just do it, man. It's awesome. Airman with the double damage rune. Everyone on the bot lane's got to be careful. Hani going to take so much damage. Fiend's Grip even being used. No time for that Shadow Blade. Actually, he did have time, but he didn't gem a true sight, so there's no point in using that Shadow Blade. But a very easy kill on that top lane. Now the Anti-Mage going hunting with his mirror images. But his double damage rune, that means the cleave is going to hurt that much more, and this top lane is going to be pushed pretty aggressively, although maybe not. Someone's teleporting out. It is going to be the Bane Elemental leaving, and yeah, Airman just wants to farm. So VP, although they're like looking for kills periodically, using that next assassin Vendetta to get kills wherever possible, really they're not too interested in ending this game right now. They're just going to keep farming up with this anti-mage, get him a double life. Maybe then they're going to make a push. They're going to be spotted though by this AA Ice Blast, which is going to hit absolutely everyone. Once that chilling effect wears off, Mech is going to pop off and they're all going to be just fine. But Fnatic, they're way too far away from Airman. You better be careful, man. Mech? Santa? There's the Mech. Airman's healthy now. 23 gold, 2300 gold in his pocket. He is farming very, very well. This is something that you cannot let an anti-mage do. Anti-mage is a vicious hard carry. And although Life Stealer as well as Gyro are hard carries as well, they can't really bring down single targets as quickly because Anti-mage has the mobility to get in there, kill it, and then get out. Whereas Life Stealer, once you go in, you're committed 100%. And when you're up against Fiend's Grip as well as a Demonic Purge, well, it could get a little bit iffy. So VP, they're just sitting back on their hands. They're waiting. They have all the time in the world. The longer this game goes, the less effective the Ancient Apparition is going to be. Everyone from VP, all their hero picks are pretty well scaled into the late game. Next Assassin is the weakest one, I'd say, but Darkseer, of course, does have that wall. Very, very devastating late game spell. The Shadow Demon with that damage amplification is going to be very, very valuable as well. And of course you have the Bane Elemental who has his maxed out Enfeeble. This guy is a lot of levels on him, only picking up 1 point of Nightmare for the setup. That Beam's Grip is going to be invaluable. And everyone from VP on the spot lane, they're going to make a straight push down there. Fnatic, they're looking to make a trade. Tier 2 for Tier 2 will be even, although with Airman with pecking that Vladimir's offering going to counter off any benefit that Fnatic are going to get from the Lifestealer having that. And VP, they're going to keep going. This is a dangerous game of chicken, and it looks like VP, they're winning. They're tearing down the towers a lot faster. They're going to teleport back. Airman, though, on the front lines with the match style, with the additional illusions created by NS, and this tower is going to take a lot of damage. He does have an Aegis as well, so he's not going to worry too much. Trixie already getting a lot of mana burnt out from him, and that's going to be one very, very easy push. The siege is now going to commence. Bat Rider looking for initiation, however. He's going to blink straight in, going to find Airman. Is he tanky enough of the instant Fiend's Grip as well as the huge stun and wall vacuum onto a whole bunch of them? Anti-Mage is going to do a lot of damage with that ultimate as well. Trixie barely escaping there with his life, but Ira is going to get picked off. and 4-11 is the score. Fnatic, their Lifestealer is going to buy back, but VP, they lost absolutely nothing from that fight, aside from a couple of ultimates. A beautiful AoE combination from VP, vacuum into an anti-mage mana void. Not really a vacuum black hole or a black hole ravage or anything like that, but hey, it works. It's a lot of damage that's been done. And Airman is so very healthy. Hey, Ice Blast can fly in once more. Era on the front lines, but that minus damage from KSI is just crippling Era so much. Can't even lifesteal with that Vlad's because he's not doing any damage. Airman, look at the damage going onto lifestealer. There's the Impale onto Hani. He's gonna get Brain Zaps as well, vacuuming back all four into the Battle Fury of Airman. The Rax are slowly getting sieged down. It's going to be successful. The bottom lane melee Rax has fallen. The bottom lane range Rax is going to fall shortly after with the constant disruptions from the Shadow Demon. The Manta style, you don't need a Manta style. You have a Shadow Demon on your team. Airman's going to pick this Rax off with his illusions. Everyone from VP is going to make their way out of there. A short, devastating, well-timed push from VP. And Fnatic, they're going to tap out. Okay. Well, I think that might have been a little bit premature, although Anti-Mage was pretty much unstoppable and the AoE combo from VP just wasn't there. I think that Fnatic might have called it a little bit too early. The Batrider didn't even get his full Flaming Lasso, although he tried. He instantly got Fiend's Gripped. Fiend's Gripped? That doesn't make any sense. And, you know, Honey's still getting pretty big, almost had his BKB. Era, of course, was also pretty big. But 4-12 with a, I mean, this gold advantage, this experience advantage, they're fairly intense, but it's definitely not a situation where you can't recover. But regardless, Fnatic have had enough, so we're going to move on to game number 2, guys. VP have taken game number 1. Very well-timed push from them, and this is why you do not give Anti-Mage space. If you're going to have an Anti-Mage on the other team, you got to kill him. And then once you're done with that, kill him some more. And then when you're done, you go to his base and then you kill him again. We'll see if Fnatic learn and bring the heat the next game. Thanks for watching, guys. GG.